Make sure hitting that like button. I know it. I know y'all boys upset. I know y'all. I know y'all upset. I know y'all upset. I don't know if y'all can hear me now. I know y'all upset. I know it. Make sure hitting that like button when y'all come through here though. Make sure hitting it. I don't know what to say anymore. My bad. I'm sorry. I late. Had some stuff I had to take care of, so I'm late. But hey, well, it's NFL free agency, and the Texans free agency is not what most of y'all was thinking. What most of y'all was hoping. Me either. Uh, I felt like the Texans was going to be very aggressive. This free agency, I thought we were going to make a lot of moves. I thought we were going to be able to do a whole bunch of stuff because I thought we was a different situation. A winning team made the playoffs. Uh, two rookies of the year, won a playoff game, won a division. D'Amico Ryans, second run up for coach of the year. Uh, had a lot of money. Had a whole bunch of money. I think was like fifth or sixth in cap space. So I thought that we were going to be in the market to get a lot of guys. And I know the big names that people definitely wanted. I know people majority wanted Saquon Barkley. I know some people wanted Christian Wilkins, the DT out of Miami, and the Texans got neither one of them. They were in conversations with them. I'm gonna get into that because I think that's part of the problem and kind of put us in the situation that we in as far as what ended up happening. When ended up happening. Like I said, the Texans made some moves. You know, I talked about it last week about them signing Dalton Schultz and also signing Kaimi and made some moves over the weekend by signing Eric Murray and things like that. We seen earlier today they signed Lonnie Johnson, bring back Lonnie Johnson back. I know a lot of people having a lot of fun with that. We signed linebacker Algier. We signed the cornerback Jeff Okuda, former third overall pick from the Ohio State. It's another Ohio State Buckeye. Was a third overall pick for Detroit Lions. Missed a lot of time over his career. I think he's only played 38 games in the last four seasons. That's an average of 9.5 games a season. He has two interceptions and I think nine pass deflections for his career. Uh, um, we also signed Audrey, defensive lineman who could play both edge and DT for a 2 year contract. Yeah, we just re-signed Noah Brown 1 year, 3 million, 13 million, 13 million, 13 million. Wow, I didn't know it was 13 million. I'm glad you said I did not know it was 13 million. I knew we just signed Noah Brown. Like I said, and shout out to my boy Big B. We was just actually just talking about the whole Noah Brown signing, about how that possibly could be a little bit underwhelming because we don't want that to be the fourth. We don't want that to be the number three receiver. But yeah, 13 million for Noah Brown. I don't. I think that's too much money. Even though it's only 1 year, 13 million for Noah Brown. I feel like that's too much money. Uh, oh, I'm just playing, not 13. Okay, I'm about to say, bro, but. Boy, I'm glad you is, boy. I'm glad you is playing. I'm about to say 13 million. That is a lot of money for Noah Brown. I know these receivers making some money, bro, but Noah Brown making 13 million, that is a lot, bro. Uh, that is a lot. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I gotta give a shout out to both. Well, not both. I got to give a shout out to Wise. I gotta give a shout out to my boy Ray Ray, my boy Wise, even Rio. I gotta give because uh, um, they knew it. They said don't be excited about free agency because the Texans are not going to do anything. Those guys said don't be excited about free agency. So I gotta give them a shout out because they were right. They were absolutely right. We wasn't going to do anything free agency. Now I do believe the Texans were in real talks with Saquon Barkley. Honestly, I feel like the Texans were really in talks with Saquon Barkley. However, I think that Saquon Barkley actually used us to get leverage over the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think that's the reason why we're in the situation that we're in. One of my prime targets with DeAndre Swift. I know I made a video a couple weeks ago saying that Saquon should be the Texans' primary target. But also in that video stated also if you want to go cheaper to go after DeAndre Swift. I've also talked about DeAndre Swift a couple of times in this on these lives and also other videos as well about DeAndre Swift because I thought he would be a cheaper option. DeAndre Swift, for instance, started at 11 o'clock. DeAndre Swift was off the board at 11:15, 11:20. He was already signed. And it was still talks going on with Saquon Barkley. Then you seen Josh Jacobs, him get off the board. And then we end up backing off of Saquon Barkley. I feel like that we was in the situation we was doing too much talking to Saquon Barkley. We was in the line, we was in the Saquon Barkley line for too long and got up to the register and they rung it up and we like, nah, we ain't about to get Saquon Barkley. Like, nah, I think that we was in the Saquon Barkley line too long and we were other people just flying off the shelves constantly, constantly. Other people just flying off the shelves, flying off the shelves. Other people just constantly flying off the shelves. DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs, Singletary. We lost Singletary, and by the time we got to the register, we didn't want to pay for Saquon Barkley. That's what happened. Can y'all hear me now? Let me know. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me? Oh, y'all good? Okay, okay, cool, cool. All right, good, good, good. All right. Yeah, never let Nick cook. For real, man. Never let Nick cook. Hey, man. Shout out to Siri for the super chat. Love, definitely appreciate that. Hey, got me ready to call him and just kidding. Hey, man. Appreciate the super chat. Love, man. Definitely appreciate that. Got you ready to call him a clown, a clown freak. Man, appreciate super chat love, man. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate super chat love, man. Definitely appreciate that. But but yeah, man. I don't know. Like I feel like I said, I feel like that we was in the Saquon Barkley line too long. Got to the register, didn't realize that hey, we weren't about to pay this for Saquon Barkley. That's not what we about to do. We about to pay this for Saquon Barkley and then everybody else off the roster. So now, uh, when it comes to the run back situation, you have, hey, Joe Mixon got released? No, Joe Mixon got released. Joe Mixon got released. Okay, where's Zach Moss? Zach Moss got signed. Where's Zach Moss go to? Zach Moss got signed to the Bengals. Joe Mixon got released. Okay, okay. Hey, 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 all is not lost. 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 Hey, hold on, wait, hold on, time out, time out. If Joe Mixon okay, Joe Mixon just got cut. Joe Mixon just got, hey, shut up, Broderick. Mute Broderick. Mute Broderick. Get him out of there. Mute Broderick. Hey, man. Hey, if we get Joe Mixon, things is completely different. Yeah, because I was just about to say about Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones. I was just about to say that Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry are the last two guys left. I was just about to say, guys, I forgot about Zach Moss. Honestly, I ain't gonna fake it. I ain't gonna fake it. I actually forgot about Zach Moss. Those were the only two guys left, and I was gonna be me personally. Honestly, I really don't want neither one of them. Honestly, out of Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry, I have issues with both. I have issues with both. But Joe Mixon, I can get behind. Great ball carrier, doesn't fumble the football, and he knows the offense is the exact same offense that the Texans run. It's the exact same zone read offense. So, man, we can go out there and get Joe Mixon. We can go out there and get Joe Mixon. Man, we go out there and get Joe Mixon. Hey, I'd rather have it. No. Why? Why? Aaron Jones gets hurt a lot. Aaron Jones gets hurt a lot. Now he does average. Now he does, Aaron Jones does average like his career average like 5 yards a carry. Aaron Jones definitely Joe Mixon can't catch. I don't care about. Hey, he is a down the field running. He's a down the field running back. He's a down the field running back. He's a down. Hey. Yeah, hey, you right. Yeah, you right, Wink. I do need to do that. I definitely do. I definitely need to get in here and make some odds. You definitely right about that. I got you, bro. Don't worry. I got you. Hey, man. Make sure you hit that like button. If y'all want Joe Mixon or y'all want if y'all want Nick, see, that's the reason why Nick ain't doing no moves. Because I see like 75, 80 people in here, but I only see like 31 likes. So y'all gotta hit the like button, man. Come on, man. Y'all gotta hit the like button. Y'all got hit the like, man. That's the reason why we ain't getting no moves. We ain't gonna get no Joe Mixons, no Derrick Henrys, no Aaron Jones, no nothing. We not doing no type of moves until the lights go up. You gotta hit the like button. That's all. You gotta hit the like button. The more the lights go up, the better chances that we gonna make some signings. I also just seen that because they say that Hunter, they say that Hunter, who's from Katy, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, I think he went to not Cinco Ranch. He went to one of them ranch schools. He's from Katy. He's in talks with the Texans too. So hopefully, Danielle Hunter, he can end up coming in as he says. And I think if we get Hunter, and we also get Joe Mixon. Hey, we might not got the Saquon Barkleys and the Christian Watkins and things like that, but hey, it is still salvageable. It's still salvageable. And like I say, hey, Joe Mixon Joe Mixon is a very good running back. Like I said, very good ball carrier. And like I said, he's gonna he could he could do the offense and everything, know the offense and stuff like that. So hey, I think it's just hey, I think I did. I don't know. I think I did. Wing check and see. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, you good? But yeah, hey man, hey, hey, I'm with it. I'm with it. If we can get Joe Mixon, I'm with it. And hey, hey, same thing with Armstead. Hey, Arms is still available. Xavier Howard's still available too. Uh, I think. I mean, I know Steven Nelson still. I know Steven Nelson's available. Like the thing about Jeff Okuda, like I like Jeff Okuda coming out of Ohio State. I thought he was the best cornerback in that draft. Coming out, I thought he was a good cornerback. Injuries. He does have talent. Like I'm not gonna say he doesn't have talent because he definitely has talent. However, he's always hurt. Like I said, he's only played 38 games in the last 4 years. He's always hurt. He's always having. So I mean, he's his first 2 years he's missed significant time, and then last year he had nagging injuries. So I just feel like I don't want a situation where I don't I don't want a situation where I don't want a situation where you got two of your corners out there always hurt. I don't want that to be the situation. I don't want it to be week 10 and you go against the Kansas City Chiefs and you ain't got none of your corners out there because I mean I think Stingley is going to be a top 5 corner in this league. I feel like this season he will be looked at as a top. He might already be looked at as a top 10 corner already. I think by the time this season ends, he's going to be looked at as a top 5 corner in this league. However, he hasn't played a full season since his freshman year at LSU in 2019. His sophomore and junior year, he missed time. And his rookie in this past year, he missed time. Now, when he came back from injury, he was a completely different Stingley. He was the Stingley that we seen in 2019. When he came back in that second half of the season when he came back after that Bengals game, because that Bengals game I do think he kind of came back too quickly. I think he kind of rushed himself because we were going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. You know what I'm saying? Against his former teammates, and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. He's going up against his former teammates at LSU, guys who we won the national championship with. He wanted to go out there and play because it was meaningful football for this franchise. We just had beat the Tampa Bay. It was meaningful football for this franchise, and he wanted to be a part of it. I agree. I feel like that's what he wanted to do. However, that actually probably was one of his worst games. It was the first time he ever gave up a touchdown in his NFL career. And then after that, he was completely. Queen just got signed to the Seahawks. Dang, dang. I wasn't really thinking the Texans were gonna sign Queen anyway. Honestly, I ain't seen that Queen was gonna sign. Actually, I think I already knew that. I think I already knew that Patrick Queen had signed. Cause I remember everybody I put on the poll that I vote that had y'all voting on. Pretty much all of them went. None of the Texans wanted. I mean, none of the Texans got. And I think the majority of it. Last time I checked was like at 60%, over 60%, like voted for Saquon Barkley. Right, it was right at 1,000. Right out of 1,000 people, percentage wise, they vote for Saquon. I had like 15 to 1,600 votes on that poll. I think almost 1,000 voted. I think right at like 900 voted for Saquon for the Texans. I said, hey, I see 108 people up in here. Only 55 likes. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. I see more people here. Make sure you hit that like button. But yeah, like I said, when Stingley came back after his injury, Stingley was a top corner in this league. When he played, I think he played like a top 5 corner. That's why he's the first DB to win Defensive Player of the Month since Gilmore, and Stephon Gilmore's still out there too. Since Stephon Gilmore back in 2019, when Stephon Gilmore won Defensive Player of the Year. So that right there show you what type of level Stingley's played. Like I said, when Stingley came back from his injury, how Stingley played. And again, if you can get the level of play of what Jeff Okudah was at Ohio State, I definitely think that you'll be in a great situation. I definitely think you will be in a great situation. And again, it's low risk, high reward. I have no problem with us signing Jeff Okudah. I have an issue more so. I have an issue more so if Jeff Okudah is the main signing. As far as like if Jeff Okudah is the guy who you sign, if he's your answer at DB, I will have a concern with that because I don't think you should bank on that. And I'm not banking on that. I think either they'll find a way to handle it via the draft. Maybe they might make another signing. I think maybe you go out there and get Xavier Howard, maybe even get Stephon Gilmore, even though I'm not too high on those guys. And again, you talking about having an injured guy and then an older guy. But I guess if you put a combination, have this injured guy and this old guy, maybe somehow, some way, somebody playing. So somehow, somebody playing. You still got Desmond King. I think they re-signed Desmond King over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken, too. So you do got that type of situation going on. So you just never know. I think that does help you out, and that does actually put you in the best situation. But I want to see exactly what it is with potentially Eric uh, uh, Armstead, Hunter, and now Joe Mixon. Now Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon getting cut. Joe Mixon getting cut. Hey man, we was literally just, no lie, we was literally just talking about this maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes before I jumped into the stream. Me and my homeboys Big B, we was just talking about this about 20 to 30 minutes ago about hey, if Joe Mixon or Alvin Kamara become available, that should be the primary target from a running back standpoint. I don't think that Dameon Pierce is going to be the prime. I don't think that Dameon Pierce is going to be your number one running back when the season starts. We got do we get Justin Simmons? Or you asked me should we get Justin Simmons? Hey, Justin Simmons still out there. I feel like that would be a good that would be a good signing. I mean I think that would be a good sign be a good signing. I don't want to be in a situation like I say because as it stands right now, offensively, the team hasn't got any better. We actually got worse. because we kept everything the same. We retained Dalton Schultz. We just brought back Noah Brown. Obviously, we got Tanker, we got Nico, we got CJ, we got all the other guys. We still got the offensive line, but we lost our running back. We lost Singletary. And like I say, how we end up losing Singletary, how we wasn't in the market out of the first 15, 20 minutes when it comes to DeAndre Swift, and also with Josh Jacobs, and then also the whole Austin Eckler. When Austin Eckler got signed, it said the Texans had jumped in late with the Austin Eckler signing, had jumped into the conversations late, but by the time it was actually too late, and I'm actually glad because I want no parts of Austin Eckler, Broderick. I know you really want Austin Eckler. I want no parts of Austin Eckler. I feel like the Texans were too much in on Saquon Barkley. I feel like that Saquon Barkley used his relationship with CJ Stroud and used that to hold this over the Philadelphia Eagles head. He's from the area. He's from Pennsylvania. He went to Penn State. That he was using that, holding that over the area, over the Philadelphia Eagles to force them to give him, I think, the second highest paid contract for a running back. He used that leverage he used the Texans. He basically used the Texans to leverage a higher contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, and it took us out of the market for those guys, and we end up losing Singletary in the process. And I also think because of that, because we end up losing Singletary in the process, we try to circle back to Austin Eckler, and then you have both Derrick Henry and you also have Aaron Jones. But now that Joe Mixon is available, now I said this earlier. I said this earlier. That if you look back, remember with Honey Badger and also Brandon Cooks, two guys that end up being our key free agents. Honey Badger was our key free agent in 2018, and both Brandon Cooks was our key free agent in 2020. Both of those got a key acquisition because it was a trade with Brandon Cooks. That those guys didn't become available till later on in the process. They weren't available on day one of free agency. They weren't available week one, week two of free agency. I think that it was week three when it came to Honey Badger, and it was a month later when we traded for Brandon Cooks. Those guys came available late in the process. I'm like, okay, because you heard rumblings about Joe Mixon possibly being cap relief because of the whole situation with T. Higgins, and the same thing with Alvin Kamara. I think Alvin Kamara is due for the next 2 seasons, due like 33, 34 million dollars over the next 2 seasons. I think he due 11 million this year and then 22 the following year, something like that. Something like that. Maybe it might be 11 and a half, 22 and a half, something like that. But around 33 to 34 million dollars, not guaranteed, but that's what he's doing on this contract for the next 2 seasons. They're thinking about cutting him to relieve some of that cap space because you don't want to pay a running back $30 million over 2 years. So that's what those guys could end up being cap casualties and cap situations. Again, the Texans could be a franchise. I think same thing with Nick Chubb. They talk about Nick Chubb could potentially be acquisition or could be a guy to be released because of the whole Deshaun Watson trade. Not guys who were going into the off season as free agents when free agents started like today, but guys who could end up being released or cut or traded on the market or whatever the case may be later on in the process. And I think, okay, if that's the case, the Texans could potentially benefit from that, especially since they missed out on Saquon Barkley. Now that this is the case, especially if they do go out there and sign Joe Mixon, what that tells me is that they had no interest of Aaron Jones or Derrick Henry to begin with. They don't have no interest. They got no interest anyway. Hey, hey, you know exactly what I'm talking to. You want a shout out? You want a shout out with a super chat in it. Cause ain't nothing for free. We don't do this for free. We don't do this for play. We don't do this for free. We don't do this for play. Cause really, you the reason why. Cause you holding that hope. So shout out to J Mill. I'm gonna just go ahead and shout out to J Mill. Cause J Mill been holding up hope all day about Nick Casario. J Mill been holding out hope all day for Nick Casario. I know he was hurt though. He was hurt and he cried in the car when he got off work, y'all. Like he cried. He cried in the car like Red on Friday. He cried in the car when Saquon got signed to Philly. He like Saquon got signed. he ran straight to the car and cried. He cried in the car when Saquon got picked up. He's like, hey, I still got confidence in my boy Nick. This is Jamie. I still got confidence in my boy Jay, in my boy Nick Casario. So I'm gonna need Nick Casario to do something. I'm gonna need him to go out there and sign Joe Mixon. J Mill. That's what I need him to do. Shout out to my boy J Mill. Shout out to my boy J Mill though. But hey, I'm gonna need him to go out there and sign Joe Mixon. Because again, like I said, if he does that, what that tells me is that he has no interest in Derrick Henry or Aaron Jones. Because I feel like he would have signed them already. There's a reason why these guys not being signed. I think Aaron Jones is in conversation with Dallas. Aaron Jones is from El Paso. Then also you have his old head coach and Mike McCarthy with the Dallas Cowboys. Derrick Henry. Uh, I think Derrick Henry lives in Dallas. I think Derrick Henry lives in Dallas and works out in Dallas and all that. So I think Derrick Henry wants to be a Cowboy. Honestly, I can see Derrick Henry's favorite team growing up being the Cowboys. Derrick Henry looks like a person whose favorite team is the Dallas Cowboy. Like I just feel like growing up, he grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan. His family was Dallas Cowboy fans. Like, cause when he was a how old is Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry, yeah, Derrick Henry definitely grew up around the Romo age. Yeah, like Romo and Dez Bryant and probably like T.O. Yeah, yeah, I could definitely see him being. I could definitely see him being a what you call it fan. Hey, I see more people than jump to him. Make sure you hit that like button. Cause I got half the like. I got 133 people, but only 63 likes. Man, come on, man, hit that like button. Like again, the Texans ain't gonna make no type of sign to the light button. That's what Nick really watching the video right now. He like, unless my boy Spitz gets some likes, I don't think we gonna make no free agent moves, man. We just about to sign some more 1 year deals, some more 1 year contracts and stuff like that, some more 2 year contracts and stuff like that. Because hey. And the thing is, bro, we got a lot of cap space. I know people been talking about like Jimmy Ward and I brought up Robert Woods because you could save like 8-9 million by cutting those guys. Like you can save 8-9 million cutting guys. There's no reason to cut them now. There's no reason or need to cut neither one of them now. There's no reason to cut neither one of those guys right now. You know why? You know why you don't need to come? Because you got all the cap space. You ain't spending no money. I was in the mindset because I thought you were gonna be paying, 20 million to a DT, another 10 million to a corner. I still think we need to pick up a corner. I haven't heard the name yet, but Miles Bryant, cornerback out of the Patriots. That's a guy who the Texans can pick up. I know I seen Geno Stone had already got picked up. I don't know if Simmons. I haven't heard about Simmons. Let me know if Simmons got picked up. It was another safety out there. I was really high on Stone. I know. What you got here got picked up. Kevin Byard got picked up. I'm really wasn't all that cool about Kevin Byard. McKinney got signed. Who's another? Oh, who's another? Let me go look at my notes. My other cornerbacks I had on the list. I had some other cornerbacks on the list too. See who else I had on the list, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, I mean, you still have the cornerback from the cornerback from the Bills who got cut. I mean, hey, the safety from the Bills who got cut. From a cornerback standpoint, you still got Dory Jackson still out there. You still got CJ Henderson. I'm not really too big on CJ. Really too big on CJ Henderson. You got Fuller as well. I mean, there's other guys out there still. And again, the Texans don't have any money. I mean, the Texans have not spent any money. Like the Texans still have a whole bunch of money because I feel like they was too busy in the Saquon Barkley line, and also I don't know if they're gonna sign Kurt Samuel because you got Kurt Samuel, you got Hollywood Brown. You got like the only receiver they really got signed I think of was Gabe Davis. But this draft class is loaded at receiver. That's one of the reasons why I wanted us to spend a lot of money on defense. It's one of the reasons why I want to spend a lot of money on defense. And I was thinking about getting like some real guys. Now again, we did sign Audrey. We could end up getting Armstead We could end up getting a Hunter, and I do think that's if we did something like that because we did let Grenard go. I do think if we do something like that, that kind of takes away the need of going heavy on defense in the draft, especially with the first pick, because I want to go into the draft not in actual desperation. Oh, we desperate. We need a Ravens offering Derrick Henry $8 million. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, that could potentially be a nasty offense with him and Lamar Jackson. That's a loaded box though. That box is gonna be loaded. Because you the running back and the quarterback is running. Like they load up that box. Like they load the mess about that box. Because the passing is not a threat. Passing is not a threat. But to my point, what I was about to say, I want to go into the draft because that should kind of go piggybacks off that. I want to go into the draft not desperate for a position. That's one of the reasons why I want us to draft a receiver because we do got Nico and you do got Tank. You got pieces there, but you want some more insurances because Nico, even though he had a good season this year, he had the best season of his career. You put this season up against other guys that we think highly of. He's had a better season this year than they've ever had. He's had a better this season here. The Nico had was better than any season that T Higgins had, and T Higgins is going to get over $20 million once he gets paid. He's going to get over $20 million, and this season that Nico had is better than any season that T Higgins had, and T Higgins always had a quarterback. But this is only Nico's first year with CJ. Tank was a rookie, was playing well, but we don't know exactly how that rookie season would end. We have a great idea. We think that he's more likely to end it in a situation with being in the conversation with CJ and Puka for offensive rookie. Yeah, I definitely believe that. So you got pieces out there. But nobody's concrete. You don't really because we still having the question of is it Nico? Is it Tank? Should we draft a receiver? Should we trade for a receiver to have a bona fide number one receiver? That's the reason why at pick 23, I feel like the best case scenario for the Texans is to move back in the first round. Don't go nowhere past 28. Buffalo's at 28. So I think that's the furthest you should move back is Buffalo at 28. You got Green Bay at 25, Buffalo at 28. And you should be somewhere in that realm in between 25 and 28. Move that far back and you still have AD on the board, Xavier Worthy on the board, Troy Franklin on the board, things like that. You still have one or two, if not all three of those guys on the board. You're able to add to your roster and add some talents and then somebody who could potentially be a no. I can see a potential any of those three being on this roster, being with CJ Stroud, end up being the number one receiver. Not saying that they would, but I wouldn't be surprised if they would. And the thing is, by doing that, jumping in front of a team that we just seen with Baltimore, if the reports are true, they end up getting Derrick Henry. Because you don't want Baltimore to get a receiver. You don't want Baltimore, they already got Zay Flowers. You don't want Baltimore to get Xavier Worthy. So they got Xavier Flowers. They got Zay Flowers and Xavier Worthy, and they got Lamar Jackson. They got Derrick Henry in the backfield. Or they got Keon Coleman, or they got Troy Franklin who can get open, or they got A.D. Mitchell. And obviously you got the Kansas City Chiefs who we know are trying to draft a receiver because they Kansas City Chiefs. And even though they won back-to-back Super Bowls, they don't have a number one receiver on their team. So you don't want neither one of those two quarterbacks to get a receiver that you could have potentially got. Now again, if you draft a receiver and then they draft a receiver too, all best is off. Okay, if you draft AD and they draft Worthy or draft Keon Coleman or whatever the case may be, that's cool because you got your receiver. I don't want to be in a situation where you don't draft that receiver and you going out there with Nico and Tank and they going out there with these type when they going out there with these guys. Xavier Worthy is not going in the top 25. I never said Xavier Worthy was going to the top 25. I've been saying this since after, I said this after the draft in the Discord. If you ain't part of Discord, make sure y'all help Honcho to get part of the Discord. And I also said this in my video several times that I don't think Xavier Worthy is getting past the first round because he's not getting past the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that he might go in front of them. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes because teams get stupid when comes to when somebody breaking records like that and running that fast. We seen not Keon Coleman, um, was it not Marcus Coleman? Corey Coleman. Corey Coleman out of Baylor. He didn't run 4.2 and he went top 10. We seen John Ross, the last person to break that record. We seen him go, I think, top 10 in the draft. I think he went. I think he went before Deshaun and Pat. Either he went right before Deshaun and Pat, or he went after Deshaun. No, I think he went after. I think he went. No, I think he went eighth or ninth or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it 11? I don't know. But he no, but we see him go high in the first round. We see him go in the top. He went in the top 15, and he couldn't even play football. He was just fast. At least Xavier Worthy actually plays football. We seen the same thing with CJ 2K, the person before John Ross he went ninth. Okay, I knew he went top 10. Uh, uh, um, we seen CJ 2K for the Titans who got drafted in the first round because he was the last person before John Ross to have the record for the fastest combine. So and that's and one of my homeboys is a Titans fan. He even told me straight up that hey, that's the reason why the Titans drafted him was because he how fast he ran the combine. So I would be surprised at all if Xavier Worthy went before Kansas City. But he's not going behind Kansas City. Kansas City's not letting him go into the second round. They're going they're going to draft him not only because they have the opportunity to draft him. They're going to make sure they get him once they have the 5th-year option, so they won't have the same situation they had with Tyreek Hill, where they get when they can offer him a contract when they can offer him a contract when they can offer him a contract and choose not to do it because they don't want to pay $30 million when they can put him on the team control for the next 5 years. That's what they're gonna do. There's no reason why I want to draft a receiver. So we can have a receiver for the next 5 years because we're going to pay Nico and Will in the next 4. Why don't you have that extra year for your receiver too? You draft a receiver next year, you draft a receiver in the draft, you have him under team control for the next 5 years. You ain't gotta worry about it for the next 5 years. Come on, man. Nick Casario should ask CJ what he wants in the 2024 draft. CJ needs a lot of weapons. I agree. He definitely needs a running game. He didn't have a running game when he had Singletary. Damn sure ain't got one now without Singletary. That's the reason why they should be going after calling Joe Mixon. They be going after Joe Mixon is a great ball carrier. He doesn't fumble the football, unlike Austin Eckler. That's one of the reasons why they want Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler has fumbled the football 10 times in the last 2 seasons, 5 times apiece. What last year he lost all 5 fumbles. The year before I think he lost 3 or lost 4, but last year he lost all 5 fumbles. In 2 seasons, fumbled the ball 10 times. Now I'm good. I ain't want all that play at all. Like I said, Derrick Henry for the last 5 years, 4 of the last 5 years have led the league in carries. 4 of the last 5 years, Derrick Henry's led the league in carries. And the one year he did lead the league in carries, the one year he did lead the league in carries was the year he only played half the season. He got hurt halfway through the season. He was 8th in the league in carries. He missed half the season and was still 8th in the league in carries. Missed half the season and still was 8th in the league in carries. That's a lot of wear and tear. And then the other 4 years of that 5-year stretch, he's led the league in carries. So he gets the football a lot. He carries the football a lot. He's 30 years old. I think he'll be 31 by the time the season starts. A 1-year contract, I think he'd be good for 1 year. But the problem is beyond that. So if you sign him to a longer term deal, I don't want to be in the situation where you hold the bag because when that gas finally goes out of the tank, it's gonna be out of the tank. And I don't want to be in the situation where I'm in the car when the gas go out the tank. like when the gas start when the gas start running low and that gas meter start going down, I don't want to be the one in the car. I don't want to be in the car running out of gas. and that's why I have an issue with signing Derrick Henry long term. Again, a 1 year contract, a 1 year rental, cool. That's cool and all. I don't want to be in the situation where you have to sign him for 1 year. I mean, when you have to sign him for a long term deal. And I know people talk about 30-year-old running backs. I had wrote it down about 30-year-old running backs. I know people talk about let me see, cause I had wrote it down somewhere. I know I had wrote it down. I know I ain't tripping. I know I ain't tripping. I know I had wrote. Oh, here it is. Here it is right here. Like Derrick Henry. I know I said when you look at guys who's over, like you look at guys who play over 30, you got Adrian Peterson, you got Frank Gore. At the age of 30, Adrian Peterson had 1,400 yards, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. After that, age of 31, only 72 yards, 1.9 yards a carry. I think only played 2 games. The following year, 32 yards. I mean, at the age of 32, he only had 448 yards, averaging 3.5 yards a carry. Age 33, he had a bounce back year with 1,000 yards, 4.2 yards a carry. At the age of 34, had 898, 4.3 yards a carry. Age 35, 604 yards, averaging 3.9 yards a carry. Frank Gore a little bit more consistent because he's always had 1,000 yards. At the age of 30, 11. Age of 31, 11, averaging 4.3. Age of 32, 96. Averaging 3.7 yards a carry. Dang. I don't know what that was. Damn. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I agree. I think they'll be. I think they'll be drafting a rookie regardless. I think if we would sign Saquon, I think they would have drafted a rookie. I think if they would draft Saquon, I think they would be signing a rookie. I think they've been signing a rookie regardless. I know you got your powers back. Purple drink. Purple drink, purple drink. Hey, you just like Rio and Ray Ray. Y'all got your powers and negativity back. Hey, it is what it is, man. I mean it is what it is. Texas bringing back Adrian Peterson. Hey, they said might as well. Hopefully, they sign Joe Mixon. They signed Joe Mixon. I'm cool. Like they signed Joe Mixon. And again, I'm not going to be the one to be like, oh yeah, they signed Joe Mixon. Let's keep it all the way honest. Let's keep it all the way a buck. Let's keep it all the way honest and all the way a buck. They were bailed out by a situation where somebody became available that wasn't available early on. That wasn't the plan because the plan was the plan. I feel like the plan was Saquon, and I don't know what Plan B was. I don't know what Plan B was. Plan B could have been DeAndre Swift. Plan B could have been Josh Jacobs. It could have been Singletary. It could have even been Austin Eckler. I don't know what Plan B actually was. I don't think Plan B was Derrick Henry or Aaron Jones because I think if Plan B was Aaron Jones or Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry will already be announced as Texans. I feel like Plan B, I don't know who Plan B was. I feel like Plan B was taken off the board before they Plan A even got before before they playing even what you call it, even was taken off. And actually, I think that might have been the reason why they might have hung in a little bit longer with Saquon. Who knows? Plan B could have been DeAndre Swift. And like I say, since DeAndre Swift was off the board, they could have been like, damn, hey, DeAndre off the board. We might have to stick in with the. We might have to get Saquon now. Like now we gotta get Saquon. Say I was gonna pay 12. I'm willing to pay 13. I'm willing to pay 14. And Philly kept on going up, and I guess they probably realized like, hey, it don't matter. No matter what we offer, no matter what we offer, they're going to keep on going up, and Saquon's going to either allow them to keep going up, or Saquon, which I really feel like is just going to go with Philly regardless, and it's going to go with Philly regardless. It doesn't matter what we offer. He's going to unless you give him something crazy like how the Cleveland Browns offered Deshaun something crazy like the fully guaranteed and all that type of stuff. You have to, hey man, we gonna offer you $20 million. Like we go off, which would be completely absurd, and everybody would have been, man. I don't think even all the Saquon fans would have been upset about that, about them offering $20 million. So I feel like they under Nick Casario start to realize that the price was always going to be too high because Saquon was always going to end up picking Philly. He was going to constantly tell Philly what we giving them so they could up the ante because that's where he wants to go. And by the time they decided to back out, it was too late. Their option B was off the table. If it was DeAndre Swift, if it was Josh Jacobs, whoever, I feel like their plan B was off the table. And they started circling. That's how they circled the Austin Eckler, but they got into the Austin Eckler conversation too late. And again, I don't know if they were even high or even interested in Aaron Jones or Derrick Henry. Nobody will know until either they sign or whatever. I don't know, but I don't think they're in the market for I don't think they're in the market for Aaron Jones or Derrick Henry. And what I was saying about Frank Gore at the age of 32, he had 976 yards. At the age of 33, he had 1,000. At the age of 34, he had 961. At the age of 35, he had 722. At the age of 36, he had 599. At the age of 37, his last year, he had 653, and he was like I said, 4.3, 3.7, 3.9, 3.7, 4.6, 3.6, 3.5 average yards per carry. More consistent than Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was more so boom or bust. Like I said, when it comes to Derrick Henry, if you go look at Derrick Henry's game film, not just highlights, not talking about highlights, because you go highlights and you'll see his highlights all day. When you go look at his game film, he gets hit in the backfield a lot. Now again, you talk about how he plays under with loaded boxes, plays with not a good offensive line. He gets hit in the backfield a lot off of one tackle. Now a lot of his even in his prime when he was rushing for 2,000 yards and 1,800 yards and leading the league in rushing and rushing against the Texans 300 yards per game, and Jackson Jaguar 300 yards per game. It was a lot of those games outside when we were playing against the AFC South he was getting hit in the backfield. And in those games, he would get 40-yard runs and 50-yard runs and 99-yard runs and stuff like that. That did happen. Those things did happen. Those things were true. But I don't know. I'm just 30 years old, 30 plus years old, led the league in carries the 4 out of the last 5 years, and that is just a lot of wear and tear. Now I know. I mean, this past season he did have 11. He did have 1,100. He did have 1,100 yards and 12 touchdowns. But last year he had 1,500 yards. 1,500 yards, averaging 1,500 yards, averaging 4.4 yards to carry, 13 touchdowns. This past season, 1,100 yards. Like he dropped off by 400 yards. He dropped off by 400 yards. I think he was second in the league in rushing. Still had 12 touchdowns. But still, the last 2 years, even last year, led the league in carries. I mean, like I said, I thought DeAndre Swift was a good option. Like I said, DeAndre Swift was off the board way too quick. Off the board, way too quick, way too quick, completely way too quick. Man, it is what it is. Like I said, hopefully because of Joe Mixon releasing, hopefully it puts us in contention, puts us in a situation where we could potentially end up signing Joe Mixon. I think that would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. That'd be phenomenal. If we end up with Armstead and Mixon and or Hunter, something like that, we end up with something like that. Again, it might not be the off season that a lot of people anticipated, a lot of people wanted, but I do believe it's something that you building off of, and it's something you can get better with. Henry will only get 15 to 20 carries a game here in H Town. I don't know. I think that also dictates on the game and how the game goes too. That's I mean I think that also dictates of how the game goes. I don't think that he obviously he wouldn't be the prime focus of the offense. It also depends if you get a running back, because again he was second in the league in carries, and they signed and they drafted what you call it from what's old boy name? Tajay Spears. They drafted Tajay Spears, and he still led the league in carries. Yeah, Spears. Yeah, Tajay Spears. They drafted Tajay Spears, and he still led the league in carries. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I don't think that he'll lead the league in carries. That's not what I'm saying. Well, if he became a Texan, I don't think he'll lead the league in carries anywhere he goes, unless he goes to Baltimore. I don't think he'll lead the league in Dallas if he goes to the Cowboys. I don't think he'll lead the league in I don't know. I'm trying to think of another team that might need a running back. I don't know. Like I don't know. Like if he went to Tampa Bay or if he went to the Raiders, or I don't think he'll lead the league, and he might lead the league in Vegas. I don't think he'll lead the league in other teams outside of possibly Baltimore, maybe Carolina. I don't think he'll lead the league, and I'm not saying that he's gonna constantly lead the league. I'm saying that he has a lot of wear and tear as far as he has a lot of mileage. That car got a lot of mileage on it. It's a nice looking car, but it's been rolling for a little minute, and it's been rolling for a little minute been rolling for a little minute. So that's what I'm thinking. If they're not blocking correctly, if the offense ain't blocking correctly, we sit now again. Now again, we could put a lot in on Damian Pierce because when Singletary was in there, they was able to run the football, able to run the field, run the football a little bit more effectively. But yeah, with Damian Pierce, we see exactly what guys get hit in the backfield a lot. So yeah, because Derrick Henry, sometimes they take Derrick Henry a little bit going. Sometimes Derrick Henry be a little bit too patient too. Sometimes Derrick Henry be a little too patient to hit them holes too. I know Titan fans be complaining about that. Before Derrick Henry started running real wild over the NFL, people in Tennessee definitely was complaining about Derrick Henry. And that's also the reason why Derrick Henry was able to last as long as he was able to last into his 30s, lead the league in carries, because he didn't get a lot of carries early on. Because when he first got to Tennessee, he was splitting time with DeMarco Murray and also splitting time with D. Westbrook. So so he was able to share some of the load for a little minute up into the last up to the last 5 seasons when he became King Henry and was able to take the lead by storm. What's your thoughts on Kendall Fuller? It depends on how much you getting off for Kendall Fuller. Uh, if you get him on a good deal, I think he'd definitely be a definitely a good corner opposite of Stingley. That's another thing too. Like the corner that's opposite of Stingley is going to get targeted a lot because I feel like the Stingley is going to be playing at a top five level. You're not going to be throwing towards number 24. Like if you were a quarterback and you look up there, you see Stingley and you see whatever corners over there. What corner are you going to throw to? Like, it's who you want to throw to. Do I want to throw in this direction, number 24, and Derek Stingley Jr., or do I want to throw into whoever this guy is over there? Like, I'm throwing to over here. Throwing to Sharif Rice. I'm throwing to Jeff Okuda. I'm throwing to Shaq Griffin. I'm not throwing to Derek Stingley Jr. I'm just being honest. So whoever's the opposite of Stingley is going to get a lot of run or rookie. Then whoever's opposite of Stingley until proven otherwise is going to get a lot of run. They just are. So you just gotta be prepared for that, and you gotta be able to hold your own on the opposite side. So that's why we need somebody of be a solid corner over there. But again, pass rush helps that. Safety help over the top helps that. With it's a lot of different things that you can help and mask and get better at too. Not just signing the next name free agent. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I prefer a Fuller. I definitely prefer Fuller. Uh, I definitely prefer Fuller. I mean, there's a chance we can sign Steven Nelson, but do you really want to though? I think Steven Nelson is gas. I think Steven Nelson gave you everything he had on that in that Browns game. I think that was like Steven Nelson played as much as he could possibly play. He ran I think he ran as fast as he could possibly could run. He did basically everything he possibly could do on that last play. I mean on their last home game against the Cleveland Browns. I feel like that was Steven Nelson giving everything he had right then and there. So I think that was Steven Nelson getting everything he absolutely had right, everything he had right then and there. Where do the Texans go from here in free agency? We're talking about Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, Hunter, just to name a few. Maybe Xavier Howard. You know, I think Simmons still out there. I mean, there's still some people. There's still some guys to sign. Uh, no, I think some guys not just from depth, some guys that you could really. Uh, 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 um, yeah, I think it's some guys that you could really use getting the run back. Yeah, I think it's some guys that you could really use. I really do. I think it's some guys you could definitely use. You could definitely make some moves where you could definitely do some things with. But you gotta go out there and make the moves. Uh, you just gotta go out there and make the moves. But I'm on board with people talking about, hey, let's just take this section off the calendar. Like, we're going to go from the end of the season, like, once the season ends, hey, we just straight talking about the draft and just take the free agency out the calendar. Like, hey, we ain't going to worry about free agency no more. Like, because we're not going to do those do all the things I guess the people won't happen. Like, that stuff not going to happen. Uh, Again, I was hopeful that this free agency was going to be like the one that we were going to take the big swing, and I think, like I said, I think that we was in there. I think we pulled up to the restaurant. We looked at the menu. We ordered the menu. We ordered everything that we ordered what we was gonna get. We was ready to go, and then they told us how much it was going to be, and we. Oh, I don't know. How much? How much they paying? What? Like I ain't got no. I got nothing cheaper. Like that. That's what I feel like happened. I feel like we was at the table for both Christian Wilkins and Saquon, because with everybody I hear, even the people who wanted Christian Wilkins and the people who wanted Saquon, who like that's who they wanted. They was boom or bust with those guys. When they look and see what those guys got paid, they were like, No, I'm good. That's too much. I wanted Christian Wilkins, but man, not for that much. Hey, I wanted Saquon Barkley. Hey, man, but not for that much. And I feel like because we was in those talks, I think we was in those talks for a minute, that we missed out on other people potentially getting signed and potentially getting picked up and potentially adding to the team and adding to the depth and things like that. I think we missed out on a lot of those things. And because of that, because we missed out on a lot of those picks and a lot of those players and a lot of those situations that uh that the rest of the free agency kind of took a back burner, and the rest of free agency and moves kind of took a back seat. Again, now, it's still salvageable. Not saying it's not salvageable. Like I said, yeah, Hunter had 16 and a half sacks last year from the city, from Katy. Uh, Joe Mixon knows the offense. Joe Mixon knows the offense. Uh, played meaningful football, played in two AFC Championship games, played in the Super Bowl. Like he's accustomed to playing in key situations, accustomed to playing in the cold and the snow and the bad weather up there in Cincinnati. So that's not going to be a problem if we have to go to a Baltimore, to a Pittsburgh, to a Kansas City, to a Buffalo, things like that. He's not going to. It's all that. Hey, good ball carrier, doesn't fumble the football. I think you can go. I say, except that Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones knows the offense too. Aaron Jones played the same offense with, with Matt LaFleur. Uh, I know somebody earlier had asked about from New Orleans, Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is still under contract for the next 2 years, but he is owed 33 to 34 million dollars over the next 2 years. I think it's like 11 and a half this year, 22 to 22 and a half next year. And they have been rumored to want to move on, trying to get up on that cap. Now, also, they've already made some roster moves throughout this week, if I'm not mistaken, to get under the cap. So their cap situation is good. They move stuff around to get cap flexibility and be under the cap. But they still, even though that's the case, they still might not want to pay that much amount of money. And they might want to be in a situation where they don't want to be good either. I mean, because more than likely they're gonna get rid of Dennis Allen. More than likely they're gonna hire a different head coach next year. I can definitely see that. Uh, I can see them in a situation where they trying to position themselves to have a bad draft pick, so they be able to pick a quarterback within the next couple of years, you know what I'm saying, with the next couple of drafts, next couple of picks, whatever, able to draft and pick a quarterback. So I wouldn't be surprised also if they got rid of him to get up under the cap and also to make their team better by making them worse for a short period of time to be able to draft and hire a franchise quarterback, because who knows, Alvin America can win you a game or two or put you in a situation that you win a game or two more than you should win. And now instead of having the first, second, or third pick, you talking about the ninth, 10th, 13th pick, and you put yourself out of a market for a quarterback. Those situations can't happen. I think they almost made the playoffs last year. They almost won the NFC South. So you don't want that situation to be so. So Cap Captain can be great son if uh like I say, Joe Mixon, I feel like is a good running back. I feel like he's a good, solid running back, and I think that having him on the roster helps out CJ tremendously, helps out the offense tremendously. I think that now he has me. I think he's missed some time too, though, over the last couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. But it's not a bad signing at all. And I said, as it stands right now, I think it's the best signing on the table from a running back standpoint. I do. Like I said, I have my issues with both Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry. Like I said, Aaron Jones misses a lot of time last year. Only had 600 yards the year before that. His best season, 21 yards. Last two seasons combined had 4 touchdowns, had 2 touchdowns apiece. 2 touchdowns this past season, 2 touchdowns the season before that. So now a couple years ago, he did have 16 touchdowns, maybe like in 2019. So he does get the end zone. Previously, these last couple of years. I think even the year before that, like I said, the last 2 years he's only had 4 touchdowns total. The year before that, after he had 4 touchdowns in that season. So the last 3 seasons combined, he has a total of 8 touchdowns, 4, 2, and 2. uh, like I said, has the six. I think last year he only rushed for like a little over 600 yards. This past season, which was his best season, was 1,121. So again, do with the information as you will. Do with the information as you will. I don't know. I think that Joe Mixon is the from a running back standpoint. I think that helps out CJ tremendously. You don't want to go into the situation where David Pierce is your number one back. We'll give Hunter 3 years 45. I mean, yeah, he could be a good depth piece. He could be a good depth piece. I mean, like I said, I don't want to go into the draft desperate because I don't want because you're going to the draft desperate. There's a chance that you could be going to the season. I don't want to say not at full strength, but not as good as you should be. And like, hey, this is my thing. Like, I feel like you should be able to use. You have all these assets, money, draft picks, trades, all these different things to get your team better. And this is the time to do it, because you're not paying CJ right now. Because the check is gonna come due. The check is going to come due in another 4 years. Just like that's the reason why Buffalo got to make all the moves that they made. Why Seattle had to make the moves that they had made one point in time. Uh, the moves that man, the 49ers going to end up making. Like, we got to work at the same time. I don't know what happened. But what I was saying is like when that check comes due, this coming due, you're gonna have two players at the same time getting paid, in CJ Stroud and Will Anderson, two of the highest paid positions, a pass rusher and an edge rusher, not a pass rusher and a running back, not a quarterback and a receiver like Joe Burrow and T Higgins, not you know what I'm saying, not a cornerback. You talking about you talking about a quarterback who is the highest paid position in football, and then probably the second highest paid position is either a left tackle or edge rusher. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's an edge rusher because I think edge rushers out here make $100 million deals. I don't know how much. And by the time Will Anderson gets paid, you could be talking about a 250, 230, I mean the 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, somewhere in that frame. And I also think the CJ is gonna be making anywhere even easily 300 to 350 to possibly 400 mil. So you're talking about two positions making $500 million together. You're talking about potentially shelling out $500 million on two positions in the next 4 years. I'm being honest. No one wants to talk about it. But that's what happens when you have a quarterback and you have an edge rusher. If they keep playing on the way, if they keep playing the trajectory that they're on, both of them rookie of the years. If they keep playing on that level, we're talking about potentially the best quarterback in the NFL or the best pass rusher in the NFL, or at the very least two top fives at their position, which means they're going to get the bag, which means they're going to constantly set the market, which means you're potentially paying anywhere between 400 to $500 million between the two in the next 4 years. So the time to spend the money is now. Because right now, what you need to do is how the Chiefs did. Win a Super Bowl, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, uh, 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 Not Minnesota, Pittsburgh, win a Super Bowl, get to and win a Super Bowl before you pay your quarterback. Because in this instance, not only you paying the quarterback, you also paying the edge rusher too. Pay these guys, but get to a championship, win a championship before you have to pay these guys. That way, if anything goes awry, you do have to start making, which eventually you will start making cap casualty cuts. At the very least, you got to chip out of it. You don't want to be the Buffalo Bills. They got to move on from all these guys, and you ain't been to a Super Bowl. At least Joe Burrow has been to a Super Bowl. You don't want to be in a situation like the Chargers. You don't want to be in a situation like these other teams. They got all these talented players around them. And they got to start letting all these guys go because they got to pay their quarterback, they got to pay pay their edge rusher, and yet still they have to hurry up and put talent around them, and it's hard for them to put talent around, and or they haven't even made it to a championship game, let alone win a Super Bowl. You don't want to be in that situation. You want to be in a situation where even if you do have to start making them tough moves and them tough decisions, at least you got a championship out of it like Kansas City and Seattle did. And like I say, for Seattle, it didn't work out no more. But at the very least, they went to a Super Bowl. They went to two Super Bowls and won one. Kansas City, even after they win that situation and paid Patrick Mahomes the following year, and I think they paid Chris Jones that year and gave not Tyreek, but gave Kelsey extension. Pat has elevated himself to a situation where he has be above play calling and above his weapons. That's the reason why he's able to win two Super Bowls. He's playing on autopilot. He's playing complete. He's complete. That's why he doesn't need Airbnb. Like think about this. Like Patrick Mahomes in the last two seasons lost Tyreek Hill, who from at least from the receiver position, not pass catcher, but from the receiver position was the number one receiver, and then you also lost your play caller in Airbnb. And what does he do those 2 years after that? Get to and win a Super Bowl, get to a championship game, win a championship game, get to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl in those 2 years without those guys because he's playing on autopilot. He doesn't need the assistance. And that's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get CJ to play on autopilot. I do not want you to have to take away his weapons. He's not able to do anything. Joe Mixon is not that good. He's a Joe Mixon's not that good. He's indifferent running back, barely averages 4 yards a carry. Joe Mixon, from what I've seen, Joe Mixon is a hard running. He's a hard running back. He's a hard running back. He can score touchdowns. He knows the offense. I think Joe Mixon is a solid running back in the solid run game. Now he does have weapons out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. And then again, he has a worse offensive line than we have. But he does have like the one thing that's intriguing about like possibly people like Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry and stuff like that. That this would be the best situation that they was in offensively as far as also the quarterback, the run blocking. Not seeing a whole bunch of people in the box because what I'm saying people are not keening on the run, all this type of stuff. You're gonna have be a little bit more wide open because you got Nico and stuff like that. Uh, that's not gonna be a situation with like somebody like Aaron Jones who played with Aaron Rodgers or or Joe Mixon who played with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. Like he's played with offensive minded head coaches. He also played with a whole bunch of offensive weapons. So it's not like he's able to. He's able to be in the offense. I'm not tripping about that. This is going to take one of three ways. Oh, it's gonna go. It's gonna go. I said take. It's gonna go. Which means it's gonna go. Which means expound. How it's gonna go one of three ways. I would like to know. I would like to know how you feel like it's gonna go one of three ways. One, Pierce finally becomes RB1. Hope not. Hope that's not the situation. What's two? I hope that's not the situation. We get one of those free agents. Okay. Three we draft one. I think one. I think two and three are actually both gonna happen. I think they're gonna draft. I think they're gonna draft. I think they're gonna sign a running back and they're gonna draft one again. Though they're gonna draft Aaron Jones. They're gonna draft Derrick Henry. They're gonna draft Joe Mixon. I mean, I should draft. Are they going to sign Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, or Derrick Henry? I don't know if they're going to sign one of those three guys. Hopefully, it's what's it called, Joe Mixon. Hopefully, Joe Mixon. I don't know if they're going to sign any of those guys. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to sign any of those guys. Like I said, hopefully it's Joe Mixon. Hopefully Joe Mixon. I don't know if they're going to sign any of the guys, but hopefully it's Joe Mixon. Uh, I think they're going to draft one regardless. No matter what happens, I feel like they're going to draft one regardless. I think the only way I think they're going to draft a running back even if they will sign Saquon. Like I said, I think they're going to draft a running back regardless. I think that's just how it's going to come down to it. I think they're going to draft a running back either way it go, just because they need to draft a running back. So I think a running back is going to get drafted regardless. I just do, man. I just do. Let's say I just don't want to be a situation like I said, week 10, and we going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, and we don't have anybody offensively because Nico missing time, and we ain't got no running back and stuff like that. I don't want that to be the situation. I don't. I don't want that to be the situation. I want the situation to be that CJ has embarrassment of offensive weapons around him, from receivers to running backs. I want to have an embarrassment of offensive weapons. I want him to be. I want him to be set up just like the 49ers. I want them to be set up just like the 49ers. I want them to be set up just like the 49ers. Like I said, the 49ers, they go out there and make moves. The 49ers are not shy from trading. Like John Lynch trades a lot. He traded for Christian McCaffrey. He traded for Jimmy G. He traded for Chase Young. Like he's jumped up in the draft for Trey Lance. Might have been a mistake, but still, was his mistake, but still, like he's constantly being aggressive. He's constantly trading to add players, trading to add picks, trading to get picks. He's constantly making decisions, constantly making moves, constantly doing all type of things, and he's always being aggressive. Always being aggressive. He doesn't even have a franchise quarterback. Imagine if he had a franchise quarterback and he's doing all this too. Imagine if he had a franchise quarterback, he's constantly being aggressive and adding to and things like that. So it is what it is, man. Like I said, hopefully the Houston Texans, hopefully they bring in Joe Mixon. Hopefully they bring in Joe Mixon. Hopefully they sign they sign Hunter. Had 16 and a half sacks last year. Uh, uh, I mean, I think it's a possibility. I think they're gonna sign some more guys tomorrow, but I do think it's gonna be some more possibly 1 or 2 year contracts. I don't think it's gonna be real significant. Who knows? I think even if they do sign Joe Mixon, this is gonna be probably a 1 year deal, possibly a 2 year deal. If they do sign Joe Mixon, I feel like if they do sign uh, Hunter or whatever. I think it's going to be a possibly a 3 year deal. And I was wondering, like, why? I mean, again, I go back to the whole situation when it comes to like I feel like they had money set aside for both Saquon and Christian Wilkins, and they had a plan to get either one or both of those guys, but they also had an amount that they wasn't willing to go over. And the reason why I feel like that is one because how things have unfolded, especially with Swift and other running backs that did hit the market, and also how just how other things have been handled. uh, like the franchise tag. Like I feel like the franchise tag, you could have used the franchise tag on Jonathan Gennard if you wasn't going to spend the money. If you wasn't going to spend the money, you could have spent 20 million on Jonathan Gennard for the franchise tag. But I feel like they didn't want to. Because they would spend that money on Jonathan Gennard for the franchise tag, they couldn't go into the free agency and have be in the conversation for both Saquon and uh uh being in both conversation both Saquon and Wilkins. They would have to pick one or the or pick neither one if they were the franchise tag or not. That's the reason why I feel like they was in conversations for both serious conversation talks. Both in both cases they end up backing out last minute 11 o'clock hour because the price tag just got too high. And what I feel about Aaron Jones, I think like I said, his best year was 100 was 1121 yards. The last 2 years, he's had 4 touchdowns combined. The last 2 years, two in the last 2 years, uh, and he last 2 years, and then like the last year, he had okay. Oh, what thing went out again? Great. Mama, I'm so hungry. Really? But I don't know. Like I feel like I feel like with the they just took them out of the situation. Like them being in those conversations just completely took them out of it just took them out. Them being in those conversations just took them out of the free agency market, and they weren't able to recover. Wasn't able to recover because they had this amount of money set aside for these guys, and again, I think if they would have did that, they what they could have if they would have did that, what they could have done, they could just franchise tag Bernard, but they already had money set aside to the reason why they didn't want franchise tag Grenard because they had money to set aside for both. They had money set aside to go for Christian Wilkins and also Saquon Barkley, and they didn't want to do that. Like they wanted to sign either both. I feel like they might have been really seriously trying to bring in both guys, both Saquon and try to bring in Christian Wilkins, but uh, again the price tag just got too high and they weren't able what's it called? Will I trade for Alvin Kamara? No. One, you gotta give up draft capital to get him, and I also don't want that contract. Alvin Kamara got 13. Alvin Kamara got like 30 some $1 million over the next 2 years. Alvin Kamara got like 30 some y'all like he got like 30 some $1 million over the next 2 years. Like he has over 30 some $1 million over the next 2 years. So I don't think that I don't think that no I don't want that's part of the reason why the Saints could potentially could be cutting him and get rid of him because they don't want to pay no $30 million to a running back 30 plus over the next 2 years. Like I said, like it's 11 and a half this year and then like 22 to 22 and a half next year. That's a lot of money for a running back. That's a lot of money for a running back. I don't that's not what you want to do. Did whatever. So it is what it is. Like it is what it is. Like I wouldn't like I said I wouldn't trade like I said I wouldn't trade for him. I would love to sign him as a running back. I would. I would love to sign him as a running back. I think he would definitely fit this offense too. I mean, he's a guy who could potentially get you 800 yards rushing and 800 yards receiving. I don't know if he ever had 1,000 yards. I don't know if he's ever had 1,000 yards rushing, but he's always had over 1,000. He's always had like 1,800 yards of total offense. Like of total yards, he's always had like 1,800 yards. So I don't know if he's really had ever had 1,000 yards of strictly rushing, but he always had like 900 yards rushing and 800 to 900 yards receiving. So he'll get you like I say, 1,800 yards total yardage, 2,000 yards of total yardage. He'll get you close to 18, 1,900 yards of total yardage because of what we could do at the running game and at the receiving game. So he does a lot. He does a lot. I don't know. I don't know if he could come back if the Texans get Derrick Henry. Like, again, like I said, my thing about Derrick Henry, I just don't. I don't know if to me personally, I don't know if it's a fit outside of 1 year. And like I said, I don't want to be sitting and stuck in that car when that car gets out of gas because he's 30 plus years old and he's led the league in carries 4 out of the last 5 years. Who's still available for free agents? I mean, like, it's still some guys in free agents, depending on what position you're talking about. I'm not saying like Joe Mixon just got released. We talking about Aaron Jones for the running backs. Like Joe Mixon just got released. You got Aaron Jones. You got Derrick Henry. All the receivers are still on the board outside of Gabe Davis. I mean, all the rest of the receivers that was available that didn't get franchise tag, they're still on the board. Uh, who else? Cornerbacks. You got Fuller who's still available. You got Henderson. You got Adoree Jackson. You got Stephon Gilmore, Xavier Howard, stuff like that. Derrick Henry is like Zeke running off fumbles, off of fumes with no gas. For real. He probably is running off of fumes, no gas. Who else still available? Uh, who else is still available? The safeties are still available too. My favorite corner in the draft, uh, it's a tie between Terry Arnold and Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins might be my favorite corner in the draft, honestly. It's a tie between those two guys. I like them both. But Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, Terry Arnold out of Alabama, Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, I think is definitely some top corners. But I don't think the Texans are going to be in position at pick 23 to actually draft a corner. I think 23 is not a good position for the Texans to draft a corner. Honestly, I don't think because probably at pick 23 you probably talking about Kool Aid. What's the kid out of not Iowa? Yeah, it is. Is it? Yeah, Iowa. Shout out to Professor Trill. I should unshout him out because of the comment he made. You're still a terrible person. What? So how you gonna super chat, but then also at the same time like call me a terrible person, Trill. You shouldn't call me. I'm not a terrible person, Trill. I'm not. I'm not a terrible person. I'm not. I'm not a terrible person. Not a terrible person. Not a terrible person at all. None whatsoever, Trill. None whatsoever. But shout out to my boy Trill. He's still riding around looking for some Zumos. He can't find none because he ain't had no. He can't find none, so he's crying in the truck because he can't find no Zumos. So he over there crying somewhere, but it's okay. It's okay, Trill. We'll see you some Bluebell. We'll airmail you some Bluebell. We got you, Trill. But shout out to boy Trill for Super Chat Love. Definitely appreciate that. Shout out to boy Trill for Super Chat Love. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate the Super Chat love. I don't think they was gonna be at 23. I think the receiver, I think the Texans. To me personally, I think the Texans are in prime position for corner because I think when at 23, prime position for receivers. Though I think the only receivers off the board at 23 are obviously the receivers that we know about: Malik Neighbors, Rome Dunze, and obviously Marvin Harrison. Those are going to be the first three receivers taken. Probably Marv, Neighbors, and then Rome in that order. Now, when we get to about 18, 19 to pick 20, 22 right before us. Potentially, Brian Thomas could come off the board. Wouldn't be surprised if he's off the board. Also, wouldn't be surprised if he's on the board at 23. I feel like at 23, like I say, Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU could be there. But I think Xavier Worthy out of Texas is going to be there. A.D. Mitchell out of Texas is going to be there. Keon Coleman, who I think might end up falling to the second round out of Florida State, going to be there. And same thing with Troy Franklin. Somebody else who could potentially fall into the second round out of Oregon is going to be there. I feel like all four of those receivers are going to be there. At the very least, three of those receivers are going to be there, but I feel like all four, potentially all five, if you add in Brian Thomas, because Brian Thomas could be there at pick 23. That's why they're taking on a prime position, because they could be at pick 23 and move back to pick 25, pick 26, pick 27, pick 28, and still able to get one of those receivers. I think the receiver out of those five, potential five, that best fits the Texans and what they want to do and fits the offense and the scheme and just come in is A.D. Mitchell. I think he's the best fit. I think the worst fit is Keon Coleman. I know y'all seen my video. Keon Coleman was my favorite receiver outside of the guys, outside of the guys who I mentioned going in the top of the draft with Marv and Neighbors and Rome. I got Keon right underneath that as my best receiver of those five. He's my favorite receiver of those five. Even though he's my personal favorite, I don't feel like he fits the offense of what the Texans want to do. He's similar to Nico, even though Nico's faster. But he does high point the ball better. He does do the 50-50 ball, jump ball situations very, very extremely well. He's a go-getter when the football's in there. He's an absolute playmaker. And I feel like he has number one receiver in the NFL written all over him. Even though I say that, he doesn't feel what the Texans want to do. D'Amico said he wants separation. He's not that good at getting separation. But you know who else? You know who is? AD can get separation. I think Troy Franklin is the best guy in this draft, potentially the best guy in this draft to get separation anyway. Then you also have Brian Thomas who could get separation very well. And we all see exactly what Xavier Worthy could do when we see how fast he could fly at that 4.21 speed at the combine. It's not just the combine, but you watch his tape. When the football's in his hand, he scats. And he takes off like a rocket. He takes completely off. So I wouldn't be surprised if they want to go that route. So I feel like the Texans at 23 is in prime position to move back and then get any of those receivers. And then if they end up with Keon Coleman, I think they can make it work. They can still make something shake with Keon Coleman. Not saying they can't make something, and I say not make something shake with Keon Coleman, because they can. But I do think that of those five, I think that he's like lowest on the list of those five as far as a fit. And the thing about it, guys, you see talking about Xavier Worthy has inconsistent hands. People don't talk about this. 2 years ago, he either a broken finger, broken thumb, broken hand. Something was wrong with his hand. He had a broken bone in his hand, something like that. And he played through the injury. That's the reason why he had the drops 2 years ago. He was playing through the injury. He could have something just sat out and let his hand completely heal. No, kid was tough and played through the injury. This past season, he didn't have issues with drops. It was the year before. It was the 2022 season, not the 2023 season. It was the 2022 season when he had issues. When he had issues with the drops, and that's because of the hand injury that people tend to forget or don't really know about. I ain't gonna say tend to forget. Like people are slighting him. I think people don't really know that he was dealing with a hand injury and he was trying to play through it. Tough kid playing through it. And I think he gives a lot. I think he can give a lot to the team. I really do. I think he can give a lot to the team. I think he give a lot to the team. But like I said, I don't even think that he is even going to end up as a Texan. I know a lot of people want him because of his speed. I think it's AD. I think the way the Texans probably see it, I think they probably see Brian Thomas as who they would want. But I don't know if Brian Thomas is going to be there. So I think it's going to be Brian Thomas, AD, Troy Franklin, Worthy, and Keon Coleman of those five. And I think that Brian Thomas is probably going to be off the list by the time we get there, and the Texans are going to end up taking A.D. Mitchell. If they go receiver, hopefully, like I say, hopefully they do more signings defensively. Hopefully they do more stuff defensively in free agency. Hopefully they go out there and they get Hunter and they get Autry and stuff like that. That way we don't go into the draft desperate for defense, and we can go out there and we can draft A.D. Mitchell and stuff like that. And I think that we could definitely go into this situation. Who knows? Also, who knows if they talk to CJ as CJ, what do you want us to do? Type situation, kind of like the Bengals did. Uh, what you call it? What's his name? What's the boy name? Joe Burrow and not T Higgins. What is the other receiver name? Jamar Chase. Joe Mixon. This offense what I want. Yeah, yeah. Legend in the third would be nice. I don't know if Legend gonna make it to the third. They should probably go in the second. Troy Franklin, Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas Jr. Or guys, niggas here, shit. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I think those guys are all gonna be in play. Honestly, Mixon not it. You were adamant about no Joe Mixon. So I guess so you want Derrick Henry or Aaron Jones. It's crazy about Derrick Henry. It's crazy about Aaron. It's crazy about Aaron Jones and Joe Mixon. Because we talked about this a couple months ago about one of those guys or both of those guys actually end up being free, and not only did they actually are free. I can't believe Joe Mixon got released while I was on stream. That was crazy. That was crazy. And I feel like they could salvage the offseason and salvage the free agency if they go out there and do that, man. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna record tomorrow. I might record and post the video tomorrow. I might go live again. Uh, if I do go live again, I might go live a little bit early. I might go live in the daytime. Actually, I might go live possibly around like 4, something like that, like 4 or 5. I might go live a little bit earlier. Uh, Jones over Mixon's wild. It is kind of nasty work, man. Hey, but like I said, I'll probably go live possibly tomorrow. I'll probably go a little bit earlier. Maybe something else will happen, and we can talk about that. Like I said, if I do go live, it'll probably be a little bit early. Well, not a little bit, a lot bit early if I'm going around 4 or 5. So I'll let y'all know. I know I'll send out some type of notification. Some type of something on the community tab or something like that. And post and let y'all know I'm going live, man. Appreciate everybody that came through. Make sure you hit that like button. If you ain't hit the like button already, make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate everybody that came and gave the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Everybody that came through, hit the like button. Appreciate that. Everybody that came through and watched, even though it was late, appreciate that. Like I said, make sure you hit that like button if you hit the like button already. Everybody hit the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Hey, hopefully we have some more news, some better news, some more eventful news for the Houston Texans. Houston Texans. Best tell me what you want to do. I would prefer us to sign Joe Mixon over Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry. I don't want neither one of those, honestly. I have issues with both. Derrick Henry is 30 plus and had leads the league in carries for the last 5 years, and Aaron Jones has always hurt a lot. And for the last 2 years, has only gotten 2 touchdowns in both seasons. Joe Mixon's a better ball carrier, and he also knows offense. Now, even though Aaron Jones knows offense too, and Aaron Jones does career average 5 yards per carry, and also Derrick Henry did play in the bad defense and plays in low boxes. I don't want to. I just see like both of those have bad signings. I think Derrick Henry, not Derrick Henry. I think Joe Mixon, you could is a better situation for you. I think they should go after Hunter and also Hunter and Eric Armstead. I feel like those, but I think those would make the free agency better, salvage it, and you'll be able to feel better about how the team is looking so far. So we can talk about, like I said, probably possibly talk about tomorrow. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. Holla.